Finally got a preseason game for the Cardinals tomorrow night at home against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we are pleased to be joined on the Arizona Sports Line right now by NFL and CBS analyst Charles Davis. Charles, thank you for the time. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing good, Charles. Really appreciate your time as always, big guy.
Thanks for having me on. It's always great to talk with the two of you.
Let's just start big picture with the Cardinals. What is your view of this team? What would you consider like a successful season for them in 2025?
Playoffs. Absolutely playoffs. It's one of those situations where we're probably the three of us are all old enough to remember when a coach would go up to the podium, a brand new coach, and say he had a 5-year plan. And we'd all nod sagely and go, yeah, let's see how this works. And would legitimately have a very good chance of getting 5 years. Like that was kind of the standard. Like when you hired a coach, that first contract, you kind of hired that coach to get through it. We all know that's no longer even close to being true. So with Jonathan Gannon and crew, I think they've done a very nice job building to this moment. But unfortunately for them, the moment's here. And people do remember after they whacked the Chicago Bears last year, right? I believe they were 6-4, first place in the division.
Right.
Everything was out in front of them. And then it didn't happen. Now, in the old days, that was kind of normal. Like you had to have some bumps to get there. Michael Jordan with the Chicago Bulls did not waltz through the Celtics, did not waltz through Detroit, had to take some beatings and some losses and a lot of bumps and bruises before the breakthrough happened. Then once the breakthrough happened, they kept his foot on everyone's neck. The Cardinals need that breakthrough. Had a chance last year, didn't happen. This is the one in front of them now. And I think that Matthew Stafford's injury in the preseason has probably put even more pressure on them to make the breakthrough.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you on that one, Charles. What are your questions for the Arizona Cardinals in 2025?
I think you guys know by now I've been a huge fan of Drew Petzing on his offensive coordinator, huge fan of Nick Rawls as defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
From the time I started talking with them to get ready for games, they really, really impressed me, and nothing has really changed. I don't care what the numbers say and all. I like the way they go about their business, I like their countenance. I like the way that they coach. I like all of those things. The questions I would have is, can a wide receiver core come alive? Marvin Harrison, Wilson, all that crew. Can they get more out of that? McBride, you're going to get what you're going to get, which is really good play. It'd be fun for everybody if he was able to get into the end zone a little bit easier. That got to be weird last year.
Little red zone.
The game we had in against Chicago, heck, they were running trick plays trying to get him a touchdown. Right. So it was kind of wild to think that this guy is destroying the league and can't get in the darn end zone. But that's a small thing. Just want to see those things pay off as they go forward. Can they continue to run the football with authority with James Conner and crew? Because that sets up everything they do. And the bigger one is going to be Nick Rawls' defense. They're scrappy, they're feisty, they do things, but can they become a little more of a unit that really imposes their will on people on a continual basis? They did it. Listen, I keep going back to Chicago because that's the game our crew did last year. And that was a weird day, right? We had the hail and they had to close the roof, which I thought you couldn't do once the roof was open. I thought that was how'd they get away with, all that was strange. The Bears had that weird game against Washington the week before with Tyreek Stevenson screaming at the crowd and the tip ball and the touchdown. So we didn't know what we were getting out of them. But the way that Arizona closed that game out, the way Nick Rawls' defense just kept coming and coming and coming. And I actually said from the booth, if the Bears were smart, they'd get their quarterback out of the game because there's no lessons to be learned. There's no toughness he had to demonstrate. It was done. And I'll be darned, next play, he's rolling around grabbing his ankle. Luckily, he got out of it okay. But that way, the way they closed that one out, I want to see that on a continual basis. And, I'm not saying they can't do it. All right. I'm just looking forward to watching that team.
Talking to NFL on CBS analyst Charles Davis. Charles, you sort of alluded to it when you mentioned the Rams. How do you see the rest of this division playing out, at least in terms of going into the season? Like, how wide open do you believe the NFC West is right now?
A lot more wide open than it has been in past years. I think San Francisco is the biggest mystery of them all because I don't know that any of us truly believe that last year was San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know? But let's flip it around, okay? Because what we're saying is, well, with good health, we're going to get the old 49ers back. Okay. That sounds great on the surface. But Trent Williams is now Joe Lewis's age and coming to America, right? He's 137 years old. And that doesn't mean he can't still play because I believe Trent Williams can still play.
I'm with you.
But he's coming off an injury-riddled season. Will he go back to being the Trent Williams we know? Or, Wolf, you can speak to this better than any of us. Once the injuries start, it's hard to stop that slide.
Yeah, no,
right?
You're right.
It's hard to get back to being indestructible. I'm hoping that he is because he has some incredible talent, as we know, right?
Incredible. First ballot
okay.
Hall of Famer.
Can they get all those injuries on the rest of the defensive side back and playing at a high level? Some of those are in other places now. Hufunga's in another spot. Dre Greenlaw's in another spot. Now you get Robert Saleh back as your coordinator, and that's a very good thing for them. But they are the biggest mystery we have of them all. Brock Purdy's got his money now.
Yeah.
But we do, I think for those of us who are bullish on San Francisco, and I probably lean that direction, we expect them to be the 49ers we've known, which means a very tough out. If we take the Cardinals, we've already discussed them. The Rams, my biggest concern now is Stafford, because if he's not working out at all in preseason, is this something is he going to have to knock rust off? Is this going to work? Remember, he's 37 years old or somewhere in that neighborhood either. And by the way, one of the most underrated tough guys at quarterback that I think we've had in the last 20 years.
Wow.
I just don't think people give him enough credit for just how tough he is and how many times he gets up and plays. The amount of times I watched him play hurt in Detroit, barely practice all week, go out there and play at a high level. We all remember the Cleveland game where he said, no, I'm not coming out, and he threw the last pass and then collapsed. This guy has a toughness to him, but again, you're getting up in age. Can you reel it back and make it work? Now, the Fort Rams tend to do that. So Seattle, I watched a little bit of their preseason game last night, and then I'm going, why am I watching this? This doesn't tell me anything. But at the same time, Mike McDonald and crew, he's going to make it hard for you with the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
It all comes down to Sam Darnold. Are we getting Minnesota Sam Darnold?
Right.
Or are we getting Sam Darnold, unfortunately, through the rest of his career, which hasn't all been his fault?
Charles, we appreciate this so much. Always good to talk to you.
Great to talk with you guys. Enjoy the preseason, so to speak. And let's get to the regular season sooner rather than later, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you, Charles.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Charles. That's Charles Davis joining us right there on the Arizona Sports Line.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.